I'm going to continue going through the cards that I used to build an Alice Grimm cube. I've already built an Alice only cube and it's already completed. I may or may not get around to posting the PowerPoint that corrects the first version. It's all in its own playlist. I think it's called Alice Cluster Cube. This is for the Alice Grimm mega build. A bunch of Grimm cards helped with Alice cards. This is the 6 Sages tribe for the cube, and I managed to get 10 of them. Okay, one of this guy, and then a playset of these. Didn't pull any Kaguya from Millennia of Ages. I may crack another Millennia of Ages box sometime, but I'm going Pokemon crazy right now, so I'm going to try to finish this project and then move on. And I'll pick it up at some other time. One Almerius, 1-0 of foil. Now there was only one gigantic printing for Millennia of Ages, so there's no discussion here about differences between printings. Even though they may have been multiple print runs. I mean, so for example, here I can tell there's a little bit of a difference between this card and these two. One's darker than the others. Anyways, that's a specialist thing. All right, so those are my 10 6 Sages cards. Some of them are elves, so they added this card added 4 to my elf count, which is pretty high. I've got 25 elves in here. Then I wanted to do a fantasy thing, and I also wanted to have fun with vanillas, cards with no printed attributes. So even though I only have one of this card, and it's a trigger for a bunch of other cards, what I also really wanted to do was put in the Star Money theme. I mean, I love the Star Money theme. And the more vanillas or cards with no printed attributes that get issued in the game, the more fun this type of deck could be. It's all centered on Star Money because your Resonator gains plus 700, 700. This is a 1-drop if it has no printed abilities, and none of these guys do, except for this one, except for John the Ark, which has a... you may put a what is it called? A non-spell fantasy card from your hand into your field. And so I've got a bunch of fantasies. They're all vanillas. Okay, so a play set of this one from 2 Towers. Oh, and then also because I'm doing the Star Money theme, I did put in a playset of this human that does not have any printed abilities. Again, I have 40 humans in this cube. And then this fantasy from Millennia of Ages. Okay, playset. And 2 dragons. I don't have that many dragons. I didn't pull a single purple mist. And maybe if I get around, I'll add some purple mists to this cube. I'm not sure right now if I'm going to do that or not. Okay, so I do have 2 of this dragon, which is also a fantasy. So it's a fantasy and a dragon. And it does fly. It's nice when you have a dragon that flies. All right, so that takes care of that pile. Then I have more humans. So this is my strictly human pile. There are lots of cards that are fairy tale human. Now these are all triggered by or helped by their own anthem. So humans have their own anthem, which is the Light Palace, the King's Castle, and it boosts all humans you control by plus 200, plus 200. I put a full playset, and then I put various humans. And now this one's very interesting because this one helps your fairy tales. I put 2, didn't go crazy because the cube's already very heavy on fairy tales. Put a full playset of Grimms, which help your light resonators give plus 200, plus 200. Very good card from Millennia of Ages. Then the bird catcher, when you tap it, you can tutor for a bird, and I've got birds in here, not just the one that goes with it. Okay, so put 3 of it. Then I put 3 of the Emperor of Millennia from MOA, where you tap it and you draw a card. It's a 3-drop. And then the bird, so you can tutor bird. So I put in these 3 from MPR. Okay, so that's the humans. Humans help other things, and sometimes they tutor birds. Sometimes they help fairy tales. Okay, so that's another pile. Then I've got, I think, some little tribes in here. I really didn't make a prince tribal thing, so I just put in 4. There's another prince that's a light prince, but I like this one better. And this card tutors for it, so you may search your deck for a prince. Just a little effect, which can be fun. Then here are my werewolves. Most of them, if not all, are nightmares. And I have a pretty good representation of nightmares, but they don't get helped by anything. So they're just in here in large numbers because they are. So 3 of this one, it's a 1-drop. Then 3 of this one, which is a 2-drop. Again, if I have a chance, I'll build a PowerPoint for these. I'm not sure. Like I mentioned before, I'm going through a Pokemon Crazy phase that I'm about to get started with. And so projects come and projects go. I may end up picking up this project later. Here's another example where you can tell, I think these are 2 different printings. Some of the darker cards are harder to tell. I'm not sure. I'll just leave it at, I have 2 of these. Okay. Then the helper, because I didn't really round that up enough werewolves. I think I only have 10. Yeah, I only have 10 werewolves. I just didn't want to put 20 of them. I have to balance attributes as well, and that limits what I can do. And I want to balance having really good cards, and the werewolves didn't really have any great cards. I mean, it helps fairy tales that Cheshire Cat is a fairy tale. Okay, so I put in 2 of the anthem for werewolves. Then the same thing with vampires. Putting 1 of Carmilla. Putting 1 of this card, which I didn't pull hardly any of, and it's from the reprint, but I don't have the old first printing. I pulled in 2 vampires from Alice cluster, just for a little bit for variety. Just a small, 10 vampires for the cube. And only 2 of the vampire anthem. Just like the other anthems, I only pulled 2. Even though I have a whole bunch. But I didn't want to, if a tribe had 10, it got 2 anthems. If it had 20, it got 4 anthems. Okay, then I put in the Kaguya theme for treasury items. So I pulled a playset. Of course, it's a were-rabbit, so it counts for my were-rabbit count of 20. Looking at my book, that's why I go to the side. And then just a nice selection of treasury items. I think I have 12 if I remember correctly. So 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, I've got 12. So I've got 3 of this one. These are all treasury items. And of course, they help you. So even if you do not pull the Kaguya and you're not playing the thing where Kaguya gains +400 for each treasury item you control, which is a really nice boost. There's still helper cards, and I didn't pick all treasury items. I only picked the ones that I thought were pretty good. So this one's a take control of your opponent's resonator business. This one makes for an aggro resonator +400. Goes with additions, and then you put it on a resonator and it kind of saves it. You can bring it back when it gets whacked, so that's good. All right, so that's the Kaguya theme. Then I have what I call the broken layer. I was going to have 24 broken cards, but then I realized I only really want 12. So one of every other pack is going to have a broken card, and I'll put it in its own layer when I build it. Pulled 2 Morganas, which messed up my human count, so I had to figure that out. And I was balancing because I ended up with, of course, this force of wind. So I ended up with a lot of wind that was really good. So I had to really balance that out. That was hard. And then just a few broken cards. I've got 3 Cheshire Cats that I purchased recently for this cube. I didn't pull a 4th one from the 2 Towers packs. Now here's another example, and I'm going to put it in the description, that this video can be used to tell first printing for second printing. These are second printing. This was clearly first printing. As I was explaining before, you can see the line. See the line right there? Okay, you can see that line. You cannot do that with the first printing. Okay, so there's 3 glorious Cheshire Cats in this cube. And then just an assortment of cards that have been banned or are banned for being too strong. Okay, and I didn't put too many. I have a whole bunch of low silence, but it kind of stalls gameplay, so I didn't want to go crazy. 6 on the other hand, I put in 3. All right, so that is what I call the broken layer, and I think I'm gonna stop here. I think I have, let me see the piles that I have. Actually, yeah, let's do a few more because I have a few. It's a 384 cards to discuss, so I've got lots of piles that I haven't finished. Okay, so here I pulled a few Susanovas. I don't have that many dragons. I think this cube is missing, just like the first version of the Alice cube was missing the playset of rock eggs. I think this first version of the cube is missing a playset of purple mist. Maybe a few more dragons. I may not get around to do that in this cycle, again, because I'm going Pokemon crazy even as we speak. But anyway, here's 3 Susanawo. And in a later iteration, if I crack a box of Millennia of Ages, maybe I'll buy singles, I would bump Susanawo to like 5, add 2 more, and then just add a ton of dragons to the cube. Okay, so a Wanderer. I have another one of this card, but again, with green, with wind, I have to be so tight. And then my layer, my 9 multicolored spells, because that's how balancing worked out. It didn't work out exactly like that. I ended up actually putting a few more multicolored spells. And so the colors are not exactly aligned right now, and that may end up being the way that I leave it. So I'm not going to discuss these cards. They're very pretty. And I put 9 total that are multicolored. I could put in many more of this card. I only have 1 laying around to put in the cube. Yeah, Flame of Outer World. I have 2. And then 3 of this guy. Okay. So that's my multicolored layer with special stuff from Millennia of Ages. Right, then I have some, I really felt guilty that I had hardly any big dudes, big flyers. This one's not a big flyer, it's just a big critter. I just didn't have enough big critters. If you don't have enough big critters in a draftable cube, the games are really grindy. You're only exacting so much damage per turn, and you never have an effect like this one where if you pull this off, you're winning the game. So you want to close out games. You want to go fast. You don't want to have 20 Law of Silence. You want to have things that are on the quick cast, or what I call instants in Magic, and lots of flyers. So I think a later iteration of this cube is going to bump up the flyers. Okay, put in 2 of this beautiful card. Only 1 of this guy, which does not have flying, even though it's a dragon. This is one flaw in early Force of Will. Big critters that look like flyers and are not. And then this is my Keepers removed from game group. Okay, so this is kind of like a rest in peace. If you guys know Magic, it gets things exiled from graveyards. I put in 3. It's from Alice, it's not from Grimm. I just wanted the effect. And again, there's a few effects from Alice that I may put in here later. It's late 2018. Let's see how many more pack cracks I do to improve my collection for Force of Will. It's going to be contesting with the other games that I follow. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here and pick up this theme in the next video. So I think I'm going to have a third video.